Welcome back to I Know It's Called Football. My name is Zach. What an exciting weekend of football that was. Bournemouth losing to Arsenal. Arsenal with another insane comeback. A couple weeks ago, it was against Villa. This past weekend, it was against Bournemouth. Man United getting a severely well-deserved humbling at the hands of Liverpool. And to nobody's surprise, Tottenham have dropped points to a bottom-of-the-table team in Wolves, losing 1-0. I've seen a lot of stuff about Tottenham. I'll try not to talk about Tottenham. I think this video is more of a wrapping up the week as opposed to just specifically talking about that brilliant Arsenal win. But I will start with that. I think the second fastest goal ever scored in a Premier League game. We're down after 9 seconds to sort of a freakish pass. They sort of did the FIFA kickoff glitch, it seemed there, and one pass went through, made it through the legs of Gabriel, I think. He couldn't quite place it, and Gabriel, a little bit, caught sleeping a little bit, and just sort of a tidy finish. Down 1-0 in 9 minutes. Bournemouth scored a second to make it 2-0 right after halftime, and Arsenal really were... I thought it was over, honestly. I thought we were... It had gone... there's that tiny bit of hope where you go, okay, maybe they can get something from this. But after that 2-0, we hadn't really created a whole lot, in the entirety of the game. A couple weak shots. The keeper had made some pretty comfortable saves. Lots of blocks, lots of block shots. I've noticed that. A lot of these teams that Arsenal play, teams lower in the table, Everton, Bournemouth, Wolves as well, they just know how to get behind a shot and block it. I'm sure there's a lot of preparation going into that when you're facing Arsenal. Getting a little bit figured out in some ways. Arsenal, obviously, they love to move the ball quickly and fast, love to pack spaces like this and move the ball quickly. 1-2 touch passes. So some teams catching on to that. But again, that first goal goes in, and they've said that you've heard this a million times before. A 2-0, a two-goal cushion, is an extremely dangerous lead to have, because you concede one goal and next thing you know, the opposing manager's putting an attacker on. You have to replicate that somehow. Maybe you put one on to get on the break. But there's something about that dynamic of being 2-0 up and then conceding and being 2-1 up. They always say that fourth goal is always so important in a game like that. So fantastic mentality from the players. Zinchenko and Odegaard always talking up the fans and trying to get reactions out of them. Thomas Partey, you've seen that you've seen him do that a couple times at Arsenal as well. But the mentality that Zinchenko has, that he's helped bring to this team, Odegaard has as well, just stapled into these players, that you could always come back. There's always a way back into games like this. Villa, they really flex their muscles, and this game really was all about Reece Nelson. Substituted on 2-1, has an assist for Benjamin White's first goal, and just smashed that ball into the side netting. Those are some of my favorite goals, when you're shooting, when it's a line drive across. You shoot with your left, you hit the right side netting, or you shoot with your right, you hit the left side netting. Those goals are so satisfying, because the only way that ball's going in is if it's hit so viciously that the goalkeeper just doesn't stand a chance. And it was so sweet. Now, I haven't lost any sleep about all the complaining rival fans have done. I have a bunch of things I would like to get through here. I've probably cut them down to a little bit, but I just want to start with that Spurs fan who went on TalkSport talking about how cringeworthy the Arsenal fans are, and we're celebrating a win against Bournemouth because we were 2-0 down. It's not celebrating. I've said this before. It's not celebrating beating Bournemouth. Do you understand? It's celebrating remaining 5 points clear at first place, top of the table. That's what the celebration. That's what 3 points is. You're celebrating 3 points. You're not celebrating beating Bournemouth and going home and we beat Bournemouth. We're the best team in the world. That's not what it's about. And it's also has a lot to do with the fact that you were 2-0 down against Bournemouth. Worst team in the league, best team in the league, and you're 2-0 down as Arsenal. So, of course, you're going to be celebrating that you're now winning the game. It's nothing to do with beating It could be any team. And lastly, the celebration police. They have never hired so many people to specifically attack Arsenal and Arsenal fans. It's only when Arsenal are winning and celebrating that people come after this team and these players and us fans. It's I've never seen anything like it. And this guy who went on talking about how cringe Arsenal fans are for beating Bournemouth, and he goes on to say we were 2-0 down against Bournemouth. We ended up beating them. And what happened? They went from fifth to fifth place. We stayed in first, and we kept that 5 point lead. So you're celebrating staying fifth as Tottenham being 2-0 down to Bournemouth. You are in the last. This is the last half of the season, the second half of the season. You need 3 points in every game, and to be 2-0 down and to come back and win it in that fashion, especially for a player who probably on the fence in terms of his Arsenal career. You probably have a manager looking at what I'm going to do. What am I going to do with this guy? And he's come on now and has completely reignited his career here at Arsenal. Is he going to get a new deal? Who knows? But for now, if he leaves, this is the high of his career. And the potential for Reece Nelson, I think, is still very high. But who knows what can happen with him? And to double down and get even further down the ridiculous ladder, Chris Kavanagh has reported Arsenal to the FA for their celebrations, whether it's not conducting themselves appropriately. And you know what? Just keep them coming at this point. I mean, you look at forgive me for not remembering his name, over there in France, and I can't remember the team he's coaching. Forgive me, I don't know how. I can't remember that. He didn't complete his coaching license, so every game the club is fined like £20,000 or euros or whatever it is, and he's on an 18-game unbeaten streak. And so there was a certain point where they were just going to say, okay, well, just keep the fines coming. We'll pay them. He'll finish his whatever he has to do, and then they'll probably appeal it. Who knows what happened? Irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. But I'm not a biased fan. I can see when we're beat by a team. I've acknowledged that Man United have been doing well. Liverpool are coming back. Man City, the best team in this league, the past 5-6 years, with the exception of Liverpool, that one outstanding year, because they've won it, or they've won it 3 out of 4. I don't remember, 4 out of 5. Who gives a shit? Man City clearly the best team in the last 5 years overall in England and the Premier League, and I have never seen rival fans attacking fans of Man City, Liverpool, whatever, when they won as much as they have as Arsenal. I don't know why that is. Honestly, I don't know why, but it's turning me into this sort of, I can only care and speak up to other fans so much before you sort of hit a breaking point, and where you realize they're all the same. So the people having a go at Arsenal fans for celebrating or asking for penalties or whatever it is, they do the same thing. So you have this constant cycle, this circle of it happened to us, we deserved it. It just keeps going around and around and around. And if it's a team you hate, you criticize them. But when it happens to you, you deserve to win. Oh, we deserve the penalty. Oh, well, they didn't give us a penalty 2 games ago, and now we deserve it. That's just not how it works. And so I found myself having to, step away from conversations like that, because they are so brain dead and useless, and people like that have absolutely no knowledge of football, and they are mad at the end of the day. They're salty. Arsenal are winning. We're celebrating comfortably staying top by 5 points, and that's really what it comes down to. So I love hearing the complaining and the bitching and moaning that goes on from these fans, and the humbling yesterday that Man United fans have received. They got absolutely spanked by Liverpool, spanked by them. That is an embarrassment to lose like that against Liverpool. And Liverpool now definitely in shouts for the top 4. I mean, if you look at the Premier League table, you have to say Fulham as well, and Brighton. I mean, Brighton have 3 games in hand on Tottenham, who are 4th place right now. And so if they won all those games, they'd be ahead of Tottenham by 2 points. And the way that shit club is going, and the way Conte is just shitting the bed, what a surprise. Tottenham are shit. It goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand. The fact that Conte can't even win anything at that club tells you just as... I mean, they're moving to F1. So they decided they've completely failed as a football club, and now they're just moving to F1. So congratulations to Tottenham. They're shit. They've always been shit. Good job. Good luck with top 4 this season. Congrats, you got it last season. You're never going to win anything. Good job. Now, Fulham probably maybe a shout for Europe. Again, like I said, Brighton definitely. Liverpool now up there. Newcastle as well, a game in hand. So it's really exciting. Arsenal definitely picked a great year to try to win the title and to be in first place as long as we have. Because if this was last season's Arsenal and missing out on these key players like Jesus and Zinchenko, who knows what position we'd be in? Probably eighth. Still, we'd probably be in eighth place again. So. Yeah, there's a bit of a ranty video. I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you have made it this far, I do really appreciate it. Arsenal back again in the weekend and back in the Europa League on Thursday against Sporting. That's going to be really exciting. I'll be happy to watch that at the bar, at the Arsenal bar here. So again, thanks very much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.